I'm Maria Fletcher, and today I'll be discussing my research on ski racing injuries for the Honors 299 Biomechanics of Impacts class at Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo. There are many types of ski injuries, which are especially broad due to the prevalence of casual participation in the sport and the resulting wide range of expertise, experience, athletic ability, and skill. However, for my research, I wanted to look specifically at injuries related to alpine ski racing, which I've had a deep interest in for a long time as I've been skiing since I was 3 years old, and it helped to narrow down the range of common injuries found within the sport. This is a picture of Michaela Schifrin, one of my favorite DH skiers, who is the youngest racer ever to reach 50 World Cup victories, and actually became the most decorated American athlete in the Alpine World Skiing Championships this year in 2021. Downhill racing is all about speed and the techniques required to maintain speed through a course of gates set up over a vertical stretch of terrain, as seen in this picture. There are a range of injuries that can arise both on and off the hill for ski racers, including direct and indirect trauma. Today, we're just going to focus on direct trauma that occurs on the ski hill. In general, the most common injury in ski racing involves the knee. The sport has seen an increase in knee injuries since ski boot technology has improved since their origin as basic leather boots that were just strapped onto the ski. The increased support of modern boots has allowed skiers to still have the range of motion necessary to get the same dynamic performance out of their skis while essentially eradicating ankle injuries. However, this has moved the strain to the knee area instead. The most common injuries include disruptions to the cruciate ligaments, especially the anterior cruciate ligament, otherwise known as the ACL. This type of injury accounts for almost 20% of all ski injuries, according to the American Journal of Sports Medicine. The ACL provides a connection between the thigh bone and the shin bone, attaching at the tibia and ascending to the inferior portion of the femur. It provides crucial stabilization to the knee joint in twisting and pivoting motions, mechanically resisting forward shifting forces and the inwards rotation of the tibia. The AJSM has also identified 3 types of injury mechanisms, referred to as slip catch, landing back-weighted, and dynamic snowplow. Slip catch is the most common amongst all skiers, involving the outer unweighted ski. The injury occurs when the skier becomes unbalanced while turning, and as they attempt to regain their grip by extending their leg, catch the inside edge and force the joint into what is called valgus position. The internal rotation of the knee, as demonstrated in the diagram, combined with the forward momentum of the femur as the trunk of the skier continues to move downhill with gravity, causes strain in the ACL as it tries to keep the leg in proper position. This is similar to the mechanism that occurs with dynamic snowplow. The injury occurs when the skier is out of balance in flight and lands on the ski tails, circled in red, with nearly extended knees. The skier in this particular picture clearly is in control, his limbs not extended away from his body, but close and tensed, ready for the impact of the landing. It is when a skier's body is reeling backwards that a back-loaded landing and potential injury would occur. The loading mechanism is a combination of tibiofemoral compression, where the tibia and femur move closer to each other, as well as ski boot-induced anterior drawer and quadriceps anterior drawer. Anterior drawer describes the forward motion of the tibia away from the joint and is correspondingly tested by doctors assessing ACL damage by slightly pulling on the calf while the leg is bent 90 degrees. The AJSM concluded their study of ACL injury in alpine ski racing by saying injury prevention efforts should focus on the slip catch mechanism and the dynamic snowplow, as these are more common, and developed prevention measures would deliver greater impact on the safety of ski racers. There is less known about ACL injury mechanics within the context of alpine skiing, due to the topic only being researched more recently. In turn, there isn't a plethora of preventative measures available right now. However, there can be a few approaches found within research articles that might give us a glimpse at the future of ACL injury prevention. One study done by the Journal of Sports Sciences analyzed the effects of ski boot rear stiffness, or SBRS, on maximal ACL force during injury-prone landing movements in alpine ski racing. Looking at a sample of over 500 injury-prone landings, The study found that at the time of maximal ACL force, several important forces in the knee were increased significantly. This included the muscle forces of the quadriceps, the tibiofemoral compression force, forces generated by quadricep muscles with respect to the tibia axis, and forces exerted by the ski boot acting perpendicular on the tibia. They concluded from this that since the reduction of SBRS is not accepted by racers due to performance reasons, preventative measures would need to concentrate on the reduction of the quad muscle force at the time of maximal ACL force. They suggested that muscles could act against the boot's force, built through exercises that practice silent or soft jump landings. This repetition would help build the muscle memory that would lead into avoidance of quad contraction while the legs are straightened. The study also suggested that reduction of quad muscle force may also be achieved by knee orthoses, which give a mechanical support to the knee. The preventing effect of such equipment during landing movements in alpine skiing should be investigated in further research, but has been briefly addressed in this conceptual drawing. In the figure, a mechanical device would be strapped on in the superior and inferior portion of the knee joint area, with an additional posterior band located above the knee to avoid discomfort to hold the device in place. Ideally, there would be a restraint that would stop the leg within some degrees of extension, essentially locking the knee at a max bent position to try to minimize the injuring drawer mechanism in the case of a fall. The skier then could race normally, able to flex their knees to the various degrees necessary to complete turns to each side over varying terrain, but have a catch for the rare occasion of loss of control, preventing their legs from locking out all the way. However, this is a rather uneducated schematic, as it does not have research to prove that this would prevent ACL damage, nor other injury resulting from not being able to stop in the way that may be chosen naturally. Finally, a study done by Front Sports Act Living shows that ACL injury prevention-specific training decreased the rate of injury. The training included techniques of how to fall when off balance and how to stop after a fall, and was implemented amongst a group of adolescent ski racers. The study also made clear that as ski racing puts equilateral force on both legs, the goal of the training was to perform different types of exercises, indoors as well as outdoors, on snow, with focus on how to perform equally well on the left and right legs. The prevention training, thus, was focused on each skier's awareness of their side-to-side ability with the given exercises, and found that there was also a connection between decreased risk of injury and good neuromuscular balance between the quads and hamstring muscles, as well as general good postural control. There are currently no forms of protection or regulation for ACL injury in alpine racing. There is protection equipment used for other injuries, such as shin guards worn under the racing suit to protect the tibia and surrounding tissue from the high-speed impact of the gait, but it doesn't have any mechanical injury prevention effects. It's hopeful that in the future, as research in this area continues to increase and gain attention, prevention awareness, training, and protection equipment will follow. That concludes my study of ACL injuries in alpine ski racing. The following sources were used for my research and for the images used in this video. Thank you.